Hello, hello, beautiful Lovetarians. This is Natalia, PH, and my fantastic guest, Foppe Seekles. Do I pronounce it correctly?
Foppe Seekles.
Seekles. Okay, thank you.
Coming
Danke
from the
wel.
northern
In
part,
Dutch.
even more northern than Poland. Yeah.
Perfect, perfect. So, the Lovetarian Way podcast, we have this amazing habit of inviting fabulous people who are thought leaders, they are change makers, trailblazers, and Foppe definitely is one of these people. He is a board member in United People Foundation, and we will talk about a parallel economy and parallel financial system that is based on cooperation. That is really revolutionary. I believe really hands down grounding approach to ascension, co-creating heaven on earth realities. So my guest, Foppe, is Dutch, and he has a background in OMG, biochemistry, engineering, spatial planning, sociology, diplomacy. And then we go into crystals, the Tao, shamanism. What a renaissance, man. Fantastic. And all this light on you now. You look like an angel of the new
Oh, I love that. Thank
you. So would you mind telling our viewers a little bit about how that transition happened? And then we will go into United People.
And what do you mean by that transition? The transition of the light, or what?
From the left brain to the more united brain, shall we say? From, 3D, right? To 5D. How did that happen?
3D to 5D. That happened already long time ago. Which actually led to an article that I wrote together with Jim Self about transition from the third dimension to the fifth dimension, and an article about the feminine masculine balance in the fifth dimension and the transitions that we are going through. Now, based upon my personal shift, which happened actually in the early 90s, the reason was that I retired myself from the government. And I retired because I did not agree what I experienced. I did special assignments for the government, first in Netherlands and later international. And I said, I'm going to decide myself which project I'm going to do. And it is not to be decided by any politician anymore. So I succeeded in retiring myself, and that was also the basis of my development in dimensions. I already was very, very sensitive. My father and mother both were psychically very sensitive, so that part came to me naturally. But to really integrate it in my life and to change my personal view, my individual view, both subconsciously and consciously. So together, bringing together the human, the higher self, and the earth guy that I am, because actually I'm a no nonsense guy, and as a no nonsense guy, to develop to a higher dimension, that gives a lot of troubles.
I live with one of those, so I know what you mean.
Yeah. Well, based upon that, my life changed completely. I had my own company already 10 years parallel to the government job that I had. And I rolled out projects that were in favor of the people, not in favor of politicians. And that went very well. Later on, I discovered, or not I discovered, people around me discovered that I'm an intuitive healer. And I started to work with crystals. As a child, I collected crystals. Then I started to work with crystals, and the crystals worked with me. So then somebody told me, but you're a Taoist. Oh, what's that? And I studied that. And my God, yeah, they're right. So I'm a Tao philosopher. And that philosophy helped me a lot in acknowledgement of the change of dimensions, the transition in myself, but also to help other people in this transition. And I'm still doing that. Is that a good answer to your question?
I believe it is. I believe it is. Thank you very much. So
No.
what led to the creation of United People?
Yeah. Also, there, the creation went back many, many, many decades. Um, a dear friend of mine, his name is Ronald Bernhard, um, revived from a very, very nasty experience, extremely nasty experience. And he is telling that on YouTube now already several years. And all the interviews that he had are translated in 10 or more languages. So we stopped counting what he was telling the people about his experiences in his life. In 2018, 19 somewhere, when we passed the viewers number of 130 million, which is immense. Well, Ronald came with the idea to start up, and that was in 2006, to start up a parallel economy, a parallel financial system, and a trade, barter, and service exchange system, platform that could help the people. That is how it all started. So we are working on this for many, many years. So we went through many ups and downs. And in April this year, we succeeded in having the platform, the barter trade and service exchange platform, the URA platform, we call that, available for more than 200 countries.
What does URA stand for? Does it stand for anything?
URA is the expression, it is the name of our own currency, which is not cryptocurrency. Our own currency is formed by the rest value when you exchange a service.
Oh, you
Because
got to Foppe,
every,
you need to explain it to like a 5-year-old, maybe 5-year-old would know. What is the rest value after
I'm
an
just going to say that.
Okay.
The rest value when you have a service trade or barter exchange is very simple. Somebody wants to have a painter to paint the facade of his house, and the painter wants to buy bread at the bakery. Now, the baker and the painter are discussing how to do that without money.
Mhm.
Then, at a certain moment, they agree that the value of hours and the number of hours can be expressed in a currency or even in bread, right?
Mhm.
When you buy a bread, you have the monetary value, so how much a bread costs is actually the basis of our value of the rest value of the URA, right?
Mhm.
We express that in URA because it is very handy to have a currency that later on also will be printed, but not now, that can be used for an exchange or a service with another guy or another woman. For instance, you have to buy some herbs because you need herbs, and you can use the rest value of this former barter between the painter and the baker to buy herbs, right? So you can have an URA account,
Okay, so.
right?
Mhm.
Is that a good answer for you?
For now, yes, we'll develop into more understanding. So, how long since which year has this been operating now?
we tested it out in 2019 and
Okay.
2020. 2019 we started. 2020 we started the last test, and from that moment on we went online.
And you are in 200 countries already?
I am not in 200 countries. That's a bit too much.
Ha ha
But
ha, very funny. No, you are all over, you're multidimensional in other universes too.
that's true. But no, the platform is available to be used in 200 countries. Yes, in more than 200 countries actually.
Practical, what does that mean? So if I am in, 200 countries is a lot. So Poland, is it on? Do you know?
You can use it in Poland, yes.
So if I am a Polish person and I would like to join, what do I do? Run me
You
through.
go, you go to the website of the United People Foundation.
What we're going to put up now. Yes.
And that is if you put it up, that's fine.
United
Just
People.
explain it.
I got it.
You go to the website United People Foundation. You go to the menu, and you see there URA platform. At this moment, we are working on the potential, and we are quite far with that. So we hope to launch that also, to exchange normal old-fashioned currencies from all over the world in the URA. So right now, you cannot go into the URA platform because we are working on that. All right. Now, you can you have the choice based upon our pillars, because you have to know that our people, our members, all signed our declaration of peace. We designed our own declaration of peace, something that is in this time crucial. Then we also designed our own Declaration of Human Rights. Those declarations are the agreements on how we work with respect, love, and understanding mutually. Then we designed 12 points of change compared to the old competitive economy and the financial system that is in a very bad situation, especially after the whole COVID thing, because that cost a lot of money. So we worked on the URA platform as the fourth pillar. So I repeat: Declaration of Peace, Declaration of Human Rights, our 12 points of change for the people, with the people, that's clear. And the last point, the URA platform. When you want to become a member, you can become a member of the United People Foundation, but you can also invest in the cooperative bank that we want to set up. Only we do not call it a bank, we call it a B, because the word bank is not to be used if you don't have a banking certificate. So the B of joy is our ultimate goal, which is a cooperative bank which is owned by the customers of the bank, not by us. The URA platform is at the end also is going to be integrated in that B of joy, right? You with me so far?
I am with you so far. Seems like viewers, they are following. No questions yet.
But, then we work with volunteers. Everybody in the whole organization is a volunteer. I'm a volunteer as a board member. I'm not getting paid in any currency in any way. I do this from my heart. With love. And that is for all of us. So that also means that understanding, respect, and listening to each other is the basis of our existence, which is the basis of the parallel economy and the parallel financial system. We respect and we let go the old system. We don't attack. Our role is peace, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And that is very important.
Good.
Question?
Yes, very, very good. Would you be willing to give some examples how people cooperated together so far? I know you have some projects that you've been working on as well. Is there something coming to you to share with us? You know, examples are great for our little minds to understand.
Of course, makes sense.
Yes.
Well, there were some projects that we are working on, but the whole COVID situation made it very difficult to complete the projects.
Mm-hmm.
So now that it is more or less, but not over the whole world, more or less easier, we are picking up those projects again. An example is, for instance, a project that was set up by two young Italian guys when they were 16 years of age. And when they were 21, they were the best paid social media advertising company in Italy.
Mm-hmm.
They discovered something. They discovered that they had big problems to make friends. They had big problems to social contact, right? Actually, I express that always in saying those people have then square eyes. It's
Oh, yeah.
the size of the display, right?
Yes.
So they discovered, hey, how do we do that? Human connections are very, very, very important. Socializing is very important but we don't know how to do that. So they came, in this case, they came to me and they said, how do we do that? So then they set up an NGO to help children to prevent to go in that situation where they cannot make contact and talk or listen to other people. And this initiative is typical an initiative which is very, very close to our hearts, because where the children have a problem to socialize and to connect, that is exactly what we would like to prevent, because the children are our future. And also that is very important in this COVID period. The children are our future.
So we're helping the children cope.
In fact, yes, the future generations should be given back a future, because the COVID period also makes their dreams evaporate. Their dreams are disappearing of their future. And that is also something that we, as United People, do. I was involved in a meeting with workshops of psychiatrists and psychologists, and I noticed that they could not help the children because they don't cater for the children. The children are not their patients. So we at the board said we're going to set up a trauma center, which is now operating in Netherlands, which is meant by and I'm saying meant. It's very interesting. Somebody is trying to call. What's happening?
Is it angels calling us, saying yes, bravo, bravo, good work?
Gosh, really, really, you are thinking the same way as I do.
There you go. Great minds. You were talking about the children, yes.
Yeah, we were talking about children. The board agreed to set up a trauma center, and the trauma center is meant by professionals, and that is done. It is on the air. It is active in Netherlands and a bit in Belgium also. And in the end of October, we have an international conference in Germany, to talk about the problems of the young people, and we are talking then about the age group between 11 and 24, 25, who are actually having quite some problems. That is also typical in project that is close to our heart. It is the future of our humanity, is the future generations that are important.
Would it be also one of the objectives to teach these people a new way of doing business, those new financial systems, to plant the seeds so they can continue on?
You read my thoughts. Well, actually, yes. We already started with a way of working based upon experiences on international level. Um, we are helping people to find their future again, their own path to the future. We do that with youngsters, but in this case, you have to see that the youngsters are the teachers of their parents.
Yeah.
And that is very important to acknowledge that. The youngsters see see a brighter future and can talk about that, are able to talk about that with their parents.
Mm-hmm.
And that means that the parents also say, hey, gosh, yeah, he's right, or she's right. Let's go there. Let's follow that path. And that is the way to actually a survival tool. It
Mm-hmm.
became actually a survival tool. That is not our choice, but it grew in that direction. And actually, we feel blessed that it grew in that direction.
Yeah. Sounds fantastic. I mean, obviously, young minds, they have not been polluted with 3D. They come straight from the source. They are, I mean, did you notice that the younger generations, they are much more awakened than, well, okay, we're not exactly the same generation, Foppe, but still, you look so young.
Thank you. I feel young. I am young. I'm young in my heart.
Well, you certainly vibe young.
Um, I discovered what was happening with the young people around me when I was approximately 10 years old. Obviously, you might know about starseed, indigo children, rainbow, and crystal children.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I know that I am one of them. I'm one of the, as they call it, I don't call it, but that is told me, a quarter maker.
Okay.
And that is exactly what I'm doing. The starseed children are very, very sensitive. And they come here on Earth with extremely high expectations. High expectations that could be implemented. But many of those children are facing disappointments, frustration, which can even grow to anger. And many of those children are losing the hope that they can indeed implement that, what they learned from the Akashic records. Now, what happened there is that many of those children also are not fitting in the community, but are forced to fit in the community by the community itself and the energy of the community. And that is a very sad situation, which is difficult to solve and easy to solve. I stop.
No, go on.
It is difficult to solve because the community, until COVID appeared, was not really eager to change. Change is difficult because you have to step out of your comfort zone. Stepping out of your comfort zone makes it possible to change within, so in yourself, but also to help other people change. And that is actually what you're doing,
Mm-hmm.
what we all are doing in the organization. And the ability to change is parallel to the strength of your words, the way you can bring something to other people in their understanding, both in their subconscious and in their consciousness. Because subconsciousness and consciousness are, as you know, needed to work together.
Mm-hmm.
And there are a lot of people who are opening that up, who are making that connection and are ready for change. So actually, in one of our newsletters of United People Foundation, I wrote an article which was titled "Thank You, COVID."
Well, yes.
Why? Because COVID makes the change possible. Only we, the people, do that change, make that change, implement that change, make it working.
Well, it's very much in alignment. It's very much in alignment with Pillar 1 of the Lovetarian way. Take 100% responsibility for your life.
Exactly.
That is not a very popular concept yet, but it's getting there.
But in that respect, it's also very beautiful, and I feel very blessed that I'm allowed to talk with you and to be on this podcast, because cooperation is the basis of a new life. We work together, and working together means we strengthen each other. That means we strengthen our future. Cooperation is so important, and it starts already in the first years of our existence. Then it starts in the educational system.
Yes.
So in that respect, a survival tool out of this period of much suffering is cooperation, based upon love, trust, and wisdom. And those three words I'm using in every email and every letter that I send. I wish everybody love, trust, and wisdom. And those three pillars are also the pillars of ways of working in our organization, United People.
Do you even try to convince people that don't believe in such concept, or do you just focus on those that are open?
Well, we are open for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
We don't limit ourselves, we don't select. And indeed, we help. But of course, there are people who do not want to change. Well, that's okay. It's fine. We leave it to them.
So
I'm
if
not I'm not trying to convince anybody. I only make people clear where there are possible and potential changes ahead on their path, if they want that. If they don't want that, I'm not doing that.
no. So when I'm an awakening soul and I'm a little bit conflicted because we know that this transformation is coming with a lot of inner conflicts and a lot of old wounds through time and space that are being that are surfacing. So if I'm conflicting between two worlds, a little bit 3D, a little bit 5D, a little bit in between, and I need guidance and I need to understand how I could incorporate my current business that is not at all based on cooperation, but I still need to pay my bills, I need to function. What would your advice be to an average Joe who is just like, he wants but he can't, he just doesn't know what to do? It's like, what could we tell him?
Well, here in the area, we are setting up at the moment Phoenix School of Ascension, and Ascension in this case is another word for change. And we help people to find their path. Based upon that, and I'm blessed to work international for many decades. I'm blessed to bring in the combination with other centers in other parts of the world, where we explain also how we work. We listen how they work, and we find a way based upon the culture of the country they're in, and based upon the awareness of the people, to help the people. And that's in short what we are doing. I can go into much depth, but then I think you need a few days.
Well, the best idea would be for anybody to go and check this website. I'm going to put it up again. Here is unitedpeople-foundation.org, and check the details, how to become a member, nitty-gritty. And of course, you're developing platform. I know there will be more videos there, right? You will be informing about all that is happening. Maybe you could tell a little bit about those 12, what do you call them?
Points of change.
12 points of change. What are those?
Well, the 12 points of change start actually, and I'm just trying to explain that very simple. Those 12 points of change are actually very much connected to the starseed children that are born on Earth en masse now. The point is that many of those children are completely bored when they're going to the educational system, because the educational system does not recognize what they know.
Mm-hmm.
It's not important for the educational system as is. So one of the points of change is bring awareness and cooperation in the educational system. Let people work together, because together we are strong. Right? Let people work together. Let children work and learn together. They can help each other. And when they help each other, they strengthen each other. So cooperation strengthens an individual. And that is one of the most important things in life. I would say to somebody who is looking for his or her path to the future, find somebody in your area who connects to several dimensional levels of thinking, and let them explain, based upon basic questions you have, what you can do yourself. One of the main things also in the change is that we as people are very capable to heal ourselves. That is what the ancient origins, what the ancient tribes did. They were looking for herbs, and they were looking for healthy food. And being healthy means eating healthy, because people are what they eat.
Mm-hmm.
And that starts with children. Example: as a child, I was lactose intolerant, so I could not drink milk.
Mm-hmm.
Which means that my mother brought me up with spinach juice, etc.
Good for you.
Yeah, I'm still healthy. But that is also something. Give the children a basis that they can develop themselves and acknowledge their development. The children are our teachers, not the other way around. So those are, in simple words, a few points of change. So listen to each other, respect each other. Anger, there's no need for anger. War, there's no need for war. When we are listening to each other, and when we bring our children the wisdom that they already have, and we acknowledge that wisdom in them, That means that we are actually acknowledging the wisdom in ourselves. I hope that this example lives a little bit. Might be need a bit sinking, but okay.
Well, it's all for me. It's very clear. I believe for our viewers as well. What is very interesting that you had frozen on the screen. We can hear you very well, but we can see you frozen with those profound words.
That's interesting. Is this
Now,
better?
yes, now you
Oh,
unfroze.
all right.
But yeah, that was just interesting. Like you have those speakers, profound speakers through history, when you can just see their face frozen in time, and then there are words of wisdom coming.
Ah,
Well,
yeah.
that was really good. Okay, so what you're saying, in essence, people need to take responsibility and be willing to embrace a new way of living.
Yes, that's correct.
And like that, I had a vision when I went into a deep trance, when I saw us expanding from the light and shaping into the most beautiful butterflies we can be in. That kind of caused a little bit of pain, this transformation. But we do know. I mean, I've seen it. I know it is possible. I've
Yeah.
seen that we need to come together, as we actually in the mystery school that Merlin is also in. We call it the light dragon body. We need to rise as one light dragon body. We need to have courage. We need to stand up. We need to speak our truth and cooperate. And as such, we don't need to fight with anybody. We're all about peace. We're all about cooperation, communication, and willingness, right? Because that's that consistency, right? And persistent willingness to do it over and over again, because we do need to be, well, a little wiser than maybe the other party sometimes, which as well requires a little bit of courage, right? But it
Yeah.
works.
It works absolutely, and I'm not really willing to make myself an example, but I can only speak about my experience, which is given to me by my ancestors, by my children, also my adopted children, and by my angels. Um, I stepped out of my comfort zone 5 times in this life. So I am in my 6th life in this life. Stepping out of somebody's comfort zone, I stepped out of my comfort zone, and my experience there was that it was very difficult, very clear, very difficult. But looking back, it brought me so much. It brought me abundance. It brought me love. It brought me insight in myself. It brought me the opening of my own heart, which was a very difficult thing to do because I was a child, single child of my parents, of course, but both my parents had the war syndrome.
Mhm.
And I discovered that later. So there, you see, it brings understanding when you step out of your comfort zone. It brings understanding even for the past. And that is something that might help a lot of people to be aware of that. And of course, we can help as we are, and we are here to help people. We can help people to see that for themselves and to implement it to give it an important place in their own lives.
You do have to tell us now about one or two of those rebirths that you had. Well, you opened the door.
Yes, I know. Well, one of the rebirths, as you call it, I did not feel it as a rebirth at that moment. Later on, I saw, yes, gosh, it's true. Um, I'll tell you one of the recent ones because it is very much connected to the situation we're in. Um, when Merlin, my son, went to Sedona to receive his doctorate and his master's in metaphysics, he asked me to come with him because I'm helping him, guiding him already many years. Being in Sedona in America, in Arizona, gave me a lot of insight in myself. The circumstances there were ideal to step out of the comfort zone of past experiences, because we all have the idea that past experiences should not be thrown away. You have to hang on that, etc. Uh-huh. That's right. You have to hang on that, but only if you see through them. And that is what Sedona made me do. Sedona opened my heart because of the beautiful energy in that area.
Mm-hmm.
And when it started opening, it was a roller coaster, I can assure you.
Mm-hmm.
And it opened more and more and more. And I still think that there's a lot of opening to do. But I'm already grateful with what happened. That is one step out of one comfort zone. Another step out of a comfort zone is that there was a time in my life after I left the Dutch government, having my own company, that I was really doing well. I was well off, and actually, there was a lawyer who worked for me, but I didn't notice that he was pocketing the money from the company and disappearing. So I set up a foundation to chase this con man. It did not bring the things back that I had, and I'm very happy that I lost that wealth. I'm extremely happy and extremely grateful, not to him, but to the life lesson that brought it to me. Life lesson was I could survive because in that period of time I decided to live as a hermit in first the mountains of Greece, then the mountains of Albania. And as such, I proved myself that I do not need anything. The only thing I need is love, trust, and wisdom.
Wow. And then what happened? Once you've learned your lesson, we need to know now. Now it's like, please do tell, continue. So you've learned your lesson, and what happened?
I was not asking anybody anything, but at a certain moment, I got the message that a friend of mine was looking for me, and he wanted me to come back to Belgium because he wanted to set up a bed and breakfast and a hotel in a castle. And he said, "Can you help me?" And I thought, "Oh well, yeah, good. Let's see what's happening." That also was a kind of trade and service exchange because I could live there,
Mm-hmm.
I could work with him and develop something that he wanted, which taught me also the elements of building up something new after hermitage, a self-chosen isolation. So that was actually a blessing.
Mm-hmm.
After that, I experienced more of these blessings. I didn't ask anything; it just happened,
Mm-hmm.
and that is still going on like that. people are suddenly calling me from years ago, and they say, "Gosh, you're there. Can I make an appointment because I want to meet you again? I need to tell you something, and I need some guidance." All right, well, come in. You're welcome. It's like that.
Well,
It's
it
so
seems
simple.
like it seems like you have beautifully aligned with your soul's purpose, and you are going with the flow of
That
it.
is what people tell me, and I think that I can now start believing what they're telling me about myself.
Well, it certainly feels like it. You had a great lesson in trust. You trusted, took a leap, and things are aligning now.
Correct.
So, what would you say to someone who is lost and afraid and they want to do something, but they are afraid? What will people say? What will my family say? Oh my God, what do I do? What's the first step, according to you, a wise one?
The first step is go into yourself, because when there is fear in people, there cannot be trust. And the moment that you kick out the fear and do that step by step, love comes in, and love brings trust. And love and trust are the building stones for wisdom. And wisdom you can share with other people. So, also there, it is um, acknowledging yourself. You can do that through meditation. You can do that also, there are several possibilities, to form a community, to make a group of like minded people and help each other. When one person starts to acknowledge him or herself in a group, other people are following. It is, it is a natural process.
Yes, you are a way shower, basically. By your own embodiment, you then inspire others
Yeah.
to do
I
it. Oh, I just love how the light is falling on you.
know. Yeah.
Very nice play with light we have here. Look at that. We're almost coming to 50 minutes. What a nice chat. People are saying it's beautiful. You have a very magical quality about you, Foppe.
Thank you.
So let's maybe, since the topic is, I would rather talk about magic all the time. We do need to talk. Well, you're Dutch, I'm Polish, so we also, in our upbringing, we're also very grounded and practical people. And this parallel economy and financial system, I can literally hear people asking, okay, so I have a business. So could I, with my business, whatever it is, could I get an exchange for my business? Like I would sign up being a lawyer, and then that will be translated into this currency, right? And then I can start your currency. And then I can start bartering or trading with other people, and I just trust. I'm just speaking to myself, Poppe. You just,
Yeah,
break
right.
my. I'm translating this into practical life still for people right now who are just not as. I don't want to say dreamy because we are very practical and we are living this kind of life. I mean, I do barters, I do trades with people all the time. You are doing this officially by the platform. So it is possible, and it is by showing the way that we will make a change. But I just like to give some more encouragement, practical encouragement to people who are, still hesitant and skeptical, maybe is the word. What would you say to them?
Oh, I love that people are skeptical.
Uh-huh.
I simply love it. I don't have any problem with that. Um, what I would say to people is that don't forget the oldest economy is not competition. The oldest economy is cooperation. When you go to the ancient tribes, you go to the Native Americans, the Maoris, the Aborigines, the minorities in China, the minorities in Japan, and wherever, even the minorities in my own country, because I'm a Frisian from origin, that is a That's actually a group of indigenous peoples in the Netherlands. It's not that known, but it's the truth. When you go to the old way of living that they had, it was all barter, trade, and service exchange. We made it possible that big companies, stock exchanges, etc., started. We will see how it goes now, because we are facing an enormous meltdown in this whole COVID period. And that is actually also why we tell people, cooperate, form a group of like-minded people and see what you can exchange. That is where it starts. It starts from the heart. It starts with the people themselves. It does not start with, I have a company. No, what you have is not important anymore. And that will become very, very, very clear. It is what you can do and what your heart tells you to do. Because thinking with your heart is the only possibility for survival. Thinking with your brain, not. And that sounds strange, especially in a community that actually teaches the children, forget your heart and think with your mind. Because if you understand with your mind, that is the basis for earning good money. So everything is translated into a money model. My life proved I don't need a money model. And what I can do, other people can do. So I think we have to acknowledge this old way of working by the indigenous peoples of the world. And we have to give that in this transition period from 3D to 5D. We have to give that a lot of love and attention. Actually, we are facing that choice now. We can make that choice for ourselves. The point is, and you already mentioned it, many people are stopped by the fear in them. What do you buy for fear? Bread? No. Meat? No. What do you buy for fear? Distrust, frustration. That is what fear brings. Is that the way of life? Is that the way of life that we want to leave to our children? Is that the way of life that we want to teach our children? I don't think so. So it all starts in ourselves. We are setting up groups in the area just to cooperate and to help the people to develop themselves in that path, both consciously and subconsciously. And I think, I know, I'm stubborn. I say I know because I hear it from many people all over the world. They are doing the same. They're fine. They're forming groups. They're helping each other. That's the way to do it.
So this is something that people really want. The best way to create it is to create it by yourself and start talking. Yes, indeed. Just look around and see what is around you. I suppose it might be a little bit easier. And I'm living in a Spanish pueblo. People are used to cooperating, and that's the natural way, right?
I love that. I love that. Yes, yes.
In a big city, well, you need to just find some communities, which is also possible. I mean, people are fed up. I mean, especially as you mentioned with COVID, a lot of things just did not work, and people started to cooperate together and started to go on social media, connect with each other, even though social media might not be so pro this, but it still works. Look at us, we're talking. So it requires a lot of initiative, courage, and going within, right? Ask your higher self and meditation to show you the way, and it does. But we need to be willing to listen.
And if you need help, don't forget that United People is not just an organization who set up parallels. It is also a movement, United People movement, and especially the youngsters movement in the movement. They are helping each other a lot. And also there is something where we parents, older people can learn from. And it is my, I'm convinced, let me put it that way. I'm convinced that the moment that we are starting to listen to the children, that the world opens up for us.
Mm-hmm.
And that does not have anything to do with any religion, whatever. No, it's just us, the people. Poof, like that.
Thank you. You said it. That's right. Cooperation, cooperation, cooperation is the name of the game. It's the new economy. Beautiful. All right. So now I see that there's just comments that is beautiful and it's nice and you magical. And yes, he is. It was a very nice conversation. If you would like to know some specifics, go to that website, unitedpeoplefoundation.org. Ask questions because this is going to be on replay forever and ever. It will only grow from here. We're just seeding at the seeding stage and we'll expand. So I'm sure if there's questions for Foppe, he will answer, even though you're not on Facebook, but we'll find a way to get you to answer.
Thank
Good.
you.
Is there anything else you would like to say? Any message you would like to leave us with as we are wrapping up and coming on to an hour now?
I would like to wish everybody from my heart to their heart love, trust, and wisdom. Enjoy with capitals, enjoy, and of course, in good health.
Thank you very much. Namaste from my heart to yours. We will be back and you have a wonderful evening. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody. Sorry for the technical difficulties, but all is well. That ends well. We made it. Please tune in next week. We will have David Lightfoot, who is also a way shower. He's a medium. He's going to be talking about ascension, pains and joys of it. So join us next Friday it is, but announcements will be coming. So you have a good evening. I'm going to say good night, actually almost night here to our guest. And wherever you are in the world, have a wonderful day. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.